The coffee cup slipped from my hands in slow motion. I watched, frozen in horror, as the dark liquid arced through the air and splashed across the pristine white documents spread on the glass table. My heart stopped. These weren't just any papers. These were the contracts for the Park Industries merger, the $300 million deal my boss had been working on for 6 months, and the investor was arriving in 20 minutes. I'm Nicole, just a simple girl from a small town in Georgia, and at that moment, I knew my life was about to fall apart. Welcome back to my channel. If you're enjoying this story, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. This is an incredibly emotional journey about love, sacrifice, and second chances that will touch your heart in ways you never expected. If you're new here, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. Your support means everything to me. Now, let's continue with Nicole's story. The door burst open and Jae-won Park strode in, 6 feet of controlled fury in a perfectly tailored Tom Ford suit. His dark eyes locked onto the ruined documents, then slowly rose to meet mine. The temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. I have never been so scared in my entire life. He walked toward me with measured steps, each one making my pulse spike higher. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, deadly calm. Do you have any idea what you've just done? I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking so badly I had to clasp them together. I'm so sorry, Mr. Park. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to clean and I bumped the table and the cup. I'm so sorry. Sorry? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're sorry? That coffee just destroyed the only signed copy of a contract worth more than you'll make in 10 lifetimes. Choi arrives in 15 minutes, expecting to finalize this deal, and now I have nothing to show him. Tears started streaming down my face. Please, I'll do anything. I'll work for free. I'll pay you back somehow. Just please don't fire me. My mama's medical bills. We need this job, please. Jae-won stared at me for a long moment. How much does your family owe on that farm in Georgia? The one that's about to be foreclosed. My blood turned to ice. How did he know about that? $12,000, I whispered. But we're going to figure it out. My daddy's working extra shifts, and I send money home every month. $12,000. He said it like it was pocket change. I could make one phone call and ensure that farm is seized tomorrow. Your parents would have nothing. Or I could pay it off completely, save your family's legacy, and give you more money than you've ever dreamed of. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it might explode. What do you want from me? He walked to his desk, pulled out a thick folder, and slid it across to me. I want you to marry me. I thought I misheard him. I thought maybe I'd hit my head when I dropped the coffee cup, and this was all a nightmare. Excuse me, my grandmother controls 60% of Park Industries shares. She's threatening to pull her support and tank the company unless I settle down and get married within a month. She's traditional, old-fashioned, and she's dying. I need a wife, temporarily, to keep her happy and keep my company. You need money and protection for your family. This is a business arrangement, nothing more. I felt dizzy. This was insane. You want me to fake marry you because I spilled coffee. I want you to marry me because you now owe me a debt you can never repay. And this is how you'll clear it. 1 year. You play the role of devoted wife in public. We maintain separate lives in private. And when it's over, you walk away with enough money to secure your family's future for generations. Refuse, and I'll make sure your family loses everything. Not just the farm. Everything. I looked into his eyes, searching for any hint of mercy, any sign that this was a bluff. But Jae-won Park didn't bluff. Everyone who worked for him knew that. He was ruthless, calculating, and he always got what he wanted. My hands were still shaking when I picked up the folder. The contract was 30 pages long. I didn't understand half the legal terms, but some parts were crystal clear. Separate bedrooms. No physical intimacy unless required for public appearances. No emotional attachment. Duration of exactly 1 year from the wedding date. Compensation of $500,000 upon successful completion, plus all family debts cleared immediately. I have a college degree, I said quietly. I graduated summa cum laude from Georgia State. I only took this housekeeping job because my mama got sick and we needed money fast. I'm not stupid, Mr. Park. I never said you were. In fact, your intelligence is partly why you're suitable for this arrangement. You'll need to be smart enough to convince my family this is real. And if I say no, then you can clean out your locker and expect legal papers served to your family by end of business tomorrow. Your choice, Nicole. Be smart. I thought about Mama, about the pain in her eyes every time another medical bill arrived. I thought about Daddy, working himself to the bone at 63 years old. I thought about my little sister Destiny, who had to drop out of college because we couldn't afford tuition. Where do I sign? He handed me a pen and I signed my life away. 2 weeks later, I stood in a private room at City Hall, wearing a simple white dress that cost more than my car. Jae-won stood beside me in another flawless suit, his face betraying nothing, as we spoke vows that meant everything and nothing at the same time. His grandmother watched from a wheelchair, tears streaming down her weathered face, completely fooled by our performance. His mother sat rigid, her disapproval radiating across the room. His younger brother, Tamin, caught my eye once, and I swear, he smirked, like he knew exactly what game we were playing. You may kiss the bride. Jae-won's hand cupped my face with surprising gentleness. His eyes met mine for a brief second, and then his lips pressed against mine. It was supposed to be for show, a quick peck to seal the ceremony. But the kiss lingered a moment too long, and when he pulled away, I saw confusion flicker across his features before his mask slammed back into place. Welcome to the family, Mrs. Park, his grandmother said, reaching for my hand. You have kind eyes. I knew the moment I saw your picture that you were the one to heal my grandson's heart. The guilt hit me like a physical blow. This sweet old woman thought I was her grandson's salvation when I was really just an employee playing a role. That night, Jae-won brought me to his penthouse. Our penthouse now, technically. Your room is down that hall, he said, pointing. Mine is opposite. The cleaning service comes Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm usually at the office until late. You're free to do whatever you want during the day, but you need to be available for family dinners, company events, and public appearances. My assistant will send you a schedule. This is really happening, I said quietly. You signed the contract. Did you think I was joking? No, this is all so surreal. He loosened his tie, and for the first time, he looked tired and human even. Get used to it quickly. Tomorrow night we have dinner with my entire family. They're going to interrogate you. My mother already suspects this marriage is fake. You need to be convincing. How am I supposed to convince them I'm in love with you when I barely know you? Study me. Learn my habits, my preferences, my history. I had my assistant prepare a file with everything you need to know. It's on your bed. Memorize it. He started to walk away, then paused. And Nicole, don't fall in love with me. This is business. Keep your heart out of it. I stared at his retreating back, anger finally breaking through my fear. Trust me, Mr. Park, that won't be a problem. But I was wrong. So terribly, devastatingly wrong. The family dinner was a nightmare. We sat around a massive table in his mother's mansion, me in a designer dress that Jae-won's stylist had picked out, feeling like an imposter playing dress-up. So, Nicole, Jae-won's mother said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. Tell us about your family. Your father is a farmer, correct? Yes, ma'am. We have a small farm in Georgia. Peaches, mostly. My daddy's worked that land for 40 years. How quaint. And your mother? She was a teacher before she got sick. I see. And you met my son while cleaning his apartment. The judgment in her voice was unmistakable. I felt my cheeks burn with humiliation. Jae-won's hand suddenly covered mine on the table. His thumb stroked my knuckles, the gesture so unexpectedly intimate it made my breath catch. I fell in love with Nicole because she's genuine, mother. In my world of fake people playing fake roles for personal gain, she's refreshingly real. She's honest, hardworking, and she doesn't want anything from me except to be seen as an equal. That's rarer than you think. His mother's eyes narrowed. How romantic. And how long exactly have you been seeing each other? 8 months, I said, remembering the file. We kept it private because Jae-won wanted to be sure before introducing me to the family. Grandmother reached over and patted my hand. I like her. She has a good spirit. Not like that horrible Hye-jin. The entire table went silent. I felt Jae-won's hand tighten on mine. Grandmother, please, his mother said sharply. We don't speak of her. Why not? She was a cheating snake who broke my grandson's heart. I'm glad he found someone better. Later that night, back in the penthouse, I found Jae-won standing on the balcony, staring out at the city lights. You didn't mention an ex-fiancée in the file. He didn't turn around. Because she's not relevant. Your grandmother seems to think she is. My grandmother is sentimental and doesn't understand business. Was it business? Your engagement to her? He finally looked at me, and the pain in his eyes shocked me. Does it matter? I don't know. Maybe. If I'm supposed to be your wife, even a fake one, I should know what I'm replacing. He turned back to the city. We were engaged for 2 years. I was going to marry her in 3 weeks. Then I came home early from a business trip and found her in bed with my business partner. They'd been having an affair for over a year. She got pregnant by him, and they're married now. That was 8 months ago. Happy now? My heart ached for him. I'm sorry, don't be. I learned a valuable lesson. Love is a liability. Trust is a weakness. Business is the only thing that doesn't betray you. He walked past me, leaving me alone on the balcony, wondering how someone so young could be so broken. The next 3 months were strange. We fell into a routine. Jae-jin left for work before I woke up. I spent my days reading, taking online classes, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do with all this free time and money. Evenings, we attended events together, playing the perfect couple for cameras and shareholders. And slowly, without meaning to, I started learning him. I learned he took his coffee black with exactly 1 sugar cube. I learned he had nightmares that made him wake up gasping around 3 in the morning. I learned he secretly donated to children's hospitals and scholarship funds, but never put his name on anything. I learned he learned English by watching American movies, and his favorite was The Shawshank Redemption because it was about hope. I learned that Jae-won Park wasn't cold. He was scared. Everything changed the night of the company gala. I wore a red dress that made me feel beautiful and powerful. Jae-won couldn't take his eyes off me in the car, and for once, his mask slipped enough for me to see desire. There. At the gala, we danced, and he held me close, closer than necessary for show. His hand on my lower back burned through the thin fabric of my dress. You're a good dancer, he murmured against my ear. My daddy taught me. He said a man who can't dance isn't worth your time. Your father sounds wise. He is. You'd like him. Maybe I will meet him properly someday. Something in his tone made my heart skip. Before I could respond, a voice cut through the moment like a knife. Jae-won, how lovely to see you. We both turned. The woman standing there was stunning, with the kind of beauty that belonged on magazine covers. Her designer gown probably cost more than my family's farm, but her smile was venomous. Hye-jin, Jae-won said flatly. And this must be the new wife. How unexpected. I didn't know you had a type for. How should I put this delicately? Charity cases. I felt Jae-won's entire body go rigid beside me. "You need to leave," he said quietly. "It's a public event, darling. I have every right to be here. I just wanted to congratulate you both." Although I must say, the wedding happened awfully fast. Almost like it was, I don't know, arranged for some specific purpose. Her eyes glittered with malice. She knew. Somehow, she knew our marriage was fake. Jae-won's arm wrapped around my waist, pulling me against him. "Nicole is my wife, and I won't tolerate you disrespecting her. Whatever bitter feelings you have about how our relationship ended, that's between us. Leave her out of it. Our relationship ended because you couldn't forgive one mistake." "One mistake? I came home early to surprise you and found you having sex with my business partner in our bed. A bed I paid for. In a penthouse I paid for. That's not a mistake, Haejin. That's a betrayal." She flinched, and for a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Then her eyes hardened. "You'll regret this marriage, Jae-won. Both of you will." She walked away, leaving a trail of expensive perfume and implied threats. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 in the morning, I gave up and went to the kitchen for water. I found Jae-won already there, shirtless, drinking scotch straight from the bottle. "Couldn't sleep either?" I asked. He shook his head. "I keep thinking about what she said, about how fast we got married, if she suspects something. Do you still love her?" The question came out before I could stop it. Jae-won looked at me for a long moment. "No, I'm not sure I ever really did. I think I loved the idea of her. The perfect wife for a CEO. Beautiful, connected, from the right family. But when I think back, I can't remember a single moment where I felt what I'm supposed to feel. That overwhelming, consuming thing people call love. Maybe you're not capable of it. It came out harsher than I intended." He set down the bottle and moved closer. Maybe. Or maybe I just never met the right person to feel it with. We were standing too close. I could feel the heat radiating off his body. His eyes dropped to my lips and my breath caught. "This is dangerous," I whispered. "I know. The contract says no emotional attachment. I know that too. So we should stop. We should." But neither of us moved. The air between us crackled with tension. His hand came up to cut my face, his thumb tracing my lower lip. "Tell me to stop, Nicole." I couldn't. God help me, I couldn't. He kissed me like a drowning man finding air. Not gentle like at our wedding, but desperate, hungry, real. I melted into him, my hand sliding up his bare chest, feeling his heart racing as fast as mine. We stumbled backward until I was pressed against the counter, his body hard against mine, his hands tangling in my hair. Every nerve ending in my body was on fire. Then his phone rang. We broke apart, both breathing hard. He grabbed his phone, saw the caller ID, and his entire demeanor changed. "It's the hospital. Grandmother had another episode. I have to go." He was gone in 5 minutes, leaving me standing in the kitchen, lips swollen, body aching, wondering what the hell we'd just started. I didn't see Jae-won for 3 days. He stayed at the hospital while his grandmother stabilized. When he finally came home, he looked exhausted. "Is she okay?" I asked. "For now." But the doctors say stress isn't good for her heart. She kept asking about us, about when we're planning to have children. I had to lie to my dying grandmother about something that's never going to happen. The pain in his voice broke my heart. "I'm sorry. It's not your fault. This was my choice, my plan. I just didn't expect it to hurt this much." He sat down heavily on the couch, and I sat beside him, close but not touching. "When I was 8 years old," he said quietly, "my father beat me so badly I was in the hospital for a week. He was angry about a business deal falling through, and he took it out on me. My mother pretended it didn't happen. My brother was too young to help. But grandmother, she came and stayed with me every single day. She read to me, brought me my favorite foods. And when I was released, she fought to have me live with her. She saved my life, Nicole, and now I'm lying to her with every breath. I reached for his hand without thinking. He didn't pull away. She loves you. That's real, even if our marriage isn't. And maybe we're giving her peace in her final months. Is that such a terrible thing? He looked at our joined hands, then at my face. When did you become so wise? I've always been wise, Mr. Park. You just never noticed. Call me Jae-won, please. At least when we're alone. Okay. Jae-won. He lifted my hand to his lips and pressed a gentle kiss to my knuckles. Thank you for being here. I know this isn't what you signed up for. Neither did you. We sat like that for a long time, hands clasped, finding comfort in each other's presence. Something was shifting between us, something the contract couldn't contain. 2 weeks later, Jae-won announced we had to take a business trip to Jeju Island. A major investor wanted to meet in person, and wives were expected to attend. The island was beautiful, all dramatic cliffs and blue ocean. But when we checked into the resort, there was a problem. I apologize profusely, the manager said, looking genuinely distressed. There was a booking error. We only have one suite available, and it's a single bedroom. All other rooms are completely booked due to a conference. Jae-won looked at me. We can find another hotel. In peak season. Everything will be booked. It's fine. We're adults. We can share a room for 2 nights. The suite was gorgeous, all floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean, and one very large bed right in the middle. I'll sleep on the couch, Jae-won said immediately. Don't be ridiculous. That couch is like 5 feet long, and you're over 6 feet tall. We can share the bed. I trust you. Do you? The question hung in the air between us, loaded with meaning. Yes, I do. That night, we lay in the dark on opposite sides of the bed, both of us rigid and awkward. I could hear him breathing, feel the warmth of his body even across the space between us. Can I ask you something? His voice came out of the darkness. Sure, do you regret it? Marrying me? I thought about it honestly. 2 months ago, I would have said yes without hesitation. But now? Some days, when I remember this isn't real, that it has an expiration date, I regret that part. But getting to know you, learning who you really are underneath all the ice, I don't regret that at all. I felt him shift closer. I could make out his outline in the moonlight streaming through the windows. You're not what I expected, he said softly. I thought you'd be simple, easy to manage, another piece on the chessboard. But you're complicated and stubborn, and you make me feel things I specifically designed my life to avoid feeling. Is that bad? I don't know. It's terrifying. He reached across the space between us and found my hand in the darkness. Our fingers intertwined. I'm falling for you, Nicole. I didn't mean to. I explicitly told myself not to. But somewhere between the fake smiles and the contract marriage and the pretending, it stopped being pretend for me. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. When did you know? He laughed quietly. The night you yelled at me for working too hard and ordered me to eat the dinner you'd made. You stood there in my kitchen, hands on your hips, looking at me like you actually gave a damn whether I took care of myself. No one's ever looked at me like that before. Like I mattered as a person, not just as a means to an end. I turned on my side to face him. He did the same. We were inches apart now. I'm falling for you too, I whispered. And it scares me because in 8 months, this ends. The contract ends. And I don't know how I'm supposed to walk away from you. Maybe you don't have to. What are you saying? I'm saying screw the contract. I'm saying I want this to be real. I'm saying I'm in love with you, Nicole, and I don't care that it's messy and complicated and nothing like what I planned. He kissed me then, and this time there was no hesitation, no pulling back. This time, we both knew exactly what we were doing. We made love as the sun rose over the ocean, the golden light spilling across tangled sheets and tangled limbs. He was gentle, passionate, and perfect. And when he whispered that he loved me, I believed him with every fiber of my being. "I love you too," I whispered back. "God help me, I love you too." We spent the rest of the trip wrapped up in each other, in our own bubble where nothing else existed. On the flight home, he held my hand the entire time, no longer caring who saw or what they thought. When we got back to Seoul, everything felt different. He kissed me goodbye in the morning before work. He called me during lunch just to hear my voice. We fell asleep tangled together every night. For 3 perfect weeks, I forgot this had started as a business arrangement. I forgot about the contract sitting in his desk drawer. I forgot about the expiration date counting down. I forgot that happiness like this never lasts. I should have known better. I should have remembered that I wasn't from his world, that there were people who would never accept me, that our story was always going to have obstacles. But I was in love, and love makes you stupid. The first crack appeared at a family dinner. Jae-won's mother had been unusually quiet all evening, watching us with calculating eyes. "You two seem very close lately," she observed, "almost like newlyweds who actually love each other." "Because we do," Jae-won said simply, squeezing my hand under the table. "How convenient." His mother's smile was cold. "Tell me, Nicole, did you love my son when you married him? Or did the love develop after you moved into his penthouse and gained access to his money?" "Mother," Jae-won's voice held a warning. "It's a fair question. This marriage happened so quickly. And now you're suddenly in love. Forgive me for being skeptical. I love your son because he's kind and brilliant, and he sees me as more than where I come from. I'm sorry if that's not good enough for you. What's not good enough is a gold digger playing house with my son's fortune while his real family watches helplessly. That's enough." Jae-won stood abruptly. "Nicole is my wife. She's family now. If you can't respect her, then we won't be attending any more family dinners." We left, but the damage was done. The doubt had been planted. That night, Jae-won held me while I cried. "She's wrong about you," he murmured into my hair. "She doesn't know you like I do." "But what if everyone thinks like her? What if they all believe I'm just using you? Let them think whatever they want. I know the truth. That's all that matters." I wanted to believe him. I really did. 2 days later, I met Tamin for coffee. Jae-won's younger brother had been surprisingly friendly, and I'd grown to appreciate his irreverent humor. "You need to be careful," he said without preamble. "Hee-jin has been asking questions about your relationship with my brother. She's digging into your past, trying to find dirt. There's nothing to find. I haven't done anything wrong. Doesn't matter. She's connected. She can create problems even where none exist." He paused. "Can I ask you something? Do you actually love him? Or is this still the arrangement everyone suspects it is?" I looked him straight in the eye. "I love your brother more than I ever thought possible. This stopped being an arrangement a long time ago." "Good, because he's different with you." Lighter, like he finally remembered how to be human instead of just a machine. "Don't let Hee-jin or my mother or anyone else take that away from him." That night, Jae-won came home late, clearly exhausted. I had dinner waiting and a bath drawn. "What did I do to deserve you?" he asked, pulling me into his arms. "You really saw me. When everyone else in your world looked right through me, you saw me as a person. That's more than you know." We were getting ready for bed when his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his entire body went rigid. "What is it?" He handed me the phone wordlessly. It was a text from an unknown number with a video attachment. My hands trembled as I hit play. It was me, from months ago, right after the contract signing. I was on the phone with my best friend Shanice back home. "Girl, you would not believe what happened. This crazy CEO is paying me to fake marry him. It's completely insane, but the money is incredible. I just have to pretend to be in love with him for a year, and then I'm set for life." My voice continued, younger and more naive, laughing about the absurdity of the situation. The video ended. I felt all the blood drain from my face. Jae-won, this was before I knew you, before any of this became real. When was this recorded? Right after I signed the contract. I called Shanice because I was scared and confused, and I needed to talk to someone. I didn't know. I never thought. Someone recorded your phone conversation? My phone was new, the one you gave me as part of the arrangement. Oh God, do you think it was bugged? His jaw clenched. Jae-jin. She has connections in tech. She must have had someone hack your phone early on. But why wait until now to release this? Because now we're actually happy. Now it will hurt the most. He was right. By morning, the video was everywhere. Every news outlet, every gossip site, every social media platform. The narrative was simple and devastating. Gold digger tricks, naive CEO into marriage for money. The stock price for Park Industries plummeted 15% in the first hour of trading. By noon, the board of directors was demanding an emergency meeting. By evening, protesters were outside the building, calling for Jae-won's resignation. His mother called, screaming about family, embarrassment. Business partners distanced themselves. Investors threatened to pull funding. And through it all, Jae-won said nothing. He sat in his office, staring at the chaos unfolding on screens around him, his face carved from stone. I found him there at midnight. Say something, yell at me, blame me, something. He finally looked at me, and the emptiness in his eyes was worse than any anger. I can't do this anymore. 5 words. 5 words that shattered my entire world. What do you mean? My grandmother had another heart attack this evening. The stress from the scandal. She's stable now, but the doctors say another episode could kill her. My mother is threatening to have you arrested for fraud. The board wants me out. Everything I've built is falling apart. So we fight back. We tell them the truth, that we fell in love for real. Who's going to believe that? He laughed bitterly. That video is you, in your own words, calling this a fake marriage. No amount of explaining will change how that looks. Then what do you want me to do? I want you to leave. Go back to Georgia. I'll make sure the money is transferred as agreed, plus extra for the trouble. Your family will be taken care of. But this, us, it needs to end. You don't mean that. I have to mean it. I can't lose my grandmother and my company because I fell in love when I wasn't supposed to. Each word was a knife to my heart. So that's it. When things get hard, you just give up on us. I'm not giving up. I'm being realistic. This was always going to end, Nicole. We just got confused along the way and thought it could be something more. I wasn't confused. I fell in love with you. Real, actual love. The kind that doesn't come with an expiration date or an exit clause. Love isn't enough. I learned that with Jae-jin, and I'm learning it again now. So I'm just like her to you. Another mistake. He flinched, but didn't deny it. You need to pack your things and leave. Tonight. I stared at him, this man I'd given everything to, and I didn't recognize him anymore. The walls were back up, higher and thicker than ever. Fine, I'll leave. But I want you to know something, Jae-won Park. You're not protecting yourself by pushing me away. You're just proving that you're too scared to fight for something real. I thought you were brave. I thought you were different. But you're just a coward hiding behind your money and your contracts. I left him sitting in that office and went to pack my things. Every item I placed in my suitcase felt like another piece of my heart breaking off. He didn't come to say goodbye. I took a taxi to the airport and bought the first ticket back to Georgia. As the plane lifted off, I watched Seoul disappear beneath the clouds and let myself cry for the first time since the video leaked. I'd fallen in love with a man who didn't know how to love me back. And that was a pain no amount of money could fix. Back home in Georgia, everything looked exactly the same. The farm, the peach trees, Mama's smile, Daddy's worn hands. but I was completely different. "Baby, you look so sad," Mama said, pulling me into a hug. What happened? I told her everything. The contract, the fake marriage, the real love, the devastating end. She held me while I cried myself empty. "Sometimes the right person comes at the wrong time," she said softly. "Or sometimes we have to lose them to understand what we really want to fight for." "It's over, Mama. He made his choice. Did he? Or did he make a choice based on fear and pressure that he might regret?" I wanted to believe she was right, but 3 weeks passed with no word from Jae-won. The media storm eventually died down. Park Industries recovered slightly. Life went on. I tried to move on too. I enrolled in a graduate program. I helped Daddy with the farm. I pretended my heart wasn't completely shattered. Then Tamin showed up at my door. He looked nervous, clutching a briefcase like a lifeline. "I need to show you something." He spread documents across our kitchen table. Phone records, financial transactions, emails. A whole conspiracy laid out in black and white. Hee-jin didn't just hack your phone. She orchestrated this entire thing. She planted stories with journalists. She manipulated stock prices. She paid board members to turn against Jae-won. All of it was a calculated plan to destroy my brother. Why are you telling me this? Because he's giving up. The board is voting tomorrow on whether to remove him as CEO. He's not even fighting it. He's just accepting defeat like he deserves it. But he doesn't. He deserves to be happy. He deserves you. My heart was pounding. Does he know about this evidence? Not yet. I've been gathering it for weeks. But Nicole, even with this evidence, he's still going to lose the vote unless something changes. The board doesn't just want proof of Hee-jin's manipulation. They want to see that my brother is stable, that his personal life isn't a liability. What can I do? Come back. Fight for him. Show the board, show everyone, that what you have is real. He doesn't want me there. He made that very clear. My brother is an idiot when he's scared. Trust me, he wants you. He's just convinced himself he doesn't deserve you. I looked at Mama. She nodded encouragingly. When's the vote? Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Seoul time. I glanced at the clock. If I left now, I could just make it. Let's go. The flight was endless. I rehearsed what I'd say 1,000 times. I changed my mind 100 times. But I kept thinking about what Mama said. Sometimes you have to fight for the right person. We landed in Seoul with an hour to spare. Tamin had a car waiting. We raced through traffic, my heart in my throat the entire time. The Park Industries building loomed ahead. Security tried to stop me, but Tamin badged us through. We ran for the elevators. The boardroom was on the 45th floor. We burst through the doors at exactly 2:15. The entire board was there. Jae-won sat at the head of the table, looking defeated. His mother was mid-sentence, clearly arguing for his removal. Everyone froze when they saw me. "I'm sorry for interrupting," I said, trying to catch my breath. "But there's something you all need to hear before you vote." "Miss Johnson, you're not authorized to be here," one of the board members said. "It's Mrs. Park, actually, and I have evidence that will change everything you think you know about this situation." Tamin stepped forward with his briefcase. For the next 20 minutes, we presented everything. The phone hacking, the media manipulation, the financial sabotage. Hee-jin's entire conspiracy laid bare. The board members' faces grew more shocked with each revelation. Jae-won stared at me the entire time, his expression unreadable. "This proves that Mr. Park was the victim of a coordinated attack," I said. "But that's not why I'm really here. I'm here because you're about to fire a man who has tripled your company's value in 5 years. A man who works harder than anyone I've ever met. A man who cares so deeply about this company that he was willing to sacrifice his own happiness to protect it." I turned to face Jae-won directly. "When I married you, it was fake. A business arrangement. But somewhere along the way, I fell in love with you. Not your money, not your status. You. The man who has nightmares about his father, but still checks on his grandmother every single day. The man who secretly funds scholarships for kids who remind him of himself. The man who looks at me like I'm worth something even when I feel worthless. Tears were streaming down my face, but I didn't care. Yes, I said those things in that video. Because I didn't know you yet. I didn't know that you would become the most important person in my life. I didn't know that loving you would change everything I thought I knew about love. I walked closer to him. He stood slowly, like he was in a trance. You told me love isn't enough. Maybe you're right. Maybe love isn't enough to solve every problem or fix every crisis. But I also know that a life without love, without taking risks, without fighting for the people who matter, that's not a life worth living. I was standing right in front of him now. So I'm fighting for you, Jae-won Park. Even if you don't want me to. Even if you push me away again. I'm fighting because you're worth fighting for. The room was completely silent. Then Jae-won's hand came up to cup my face, his thumb wiping away my tears. I'm an idiot, he said hoarsely. The biggest idiot in the entire world. Yes, you are. I pushed you away because I was scared, because everyone I've ever loved has left or betrayed me, and I couldn't handle losing you too. So I convinced myself it was better to end it on my terms. And now I realized that losing you wasn't protecting my heart. It was ripping it out completely. His other hand found my waist, pulling me closer. I've been miserable without you. Every morning I wake up reaching for you. Every night I fall asleep remembering what it felt like to hold you. You became home to me, Nicole, and I was too stupid and scared to see it. So what are you saying? I'm saying I love you. I'm saying the contract can burn because I don't want a year. I want forever. I'm saying marry me for real this time. No clauses, no end date. Just you and me figuring life out together. I laughed through my tears. We're already married, you idiot. Then let me do it right. He dropped to one knee right there in the boardroom, in front of his entire board of directors. Nicole Johnson, will you stay married to me? For real this time? For better or worse, richer or poorer, in scandal and in peace. Yes. God, yes. He stood and kissed me, and I swear the entire room erupted in applause. Even his mother was wiping her eyes, though she tried to hide it. The board voted unanimously to keep Jae-won as CEO. With the evidence of sabotage, Hye-jin was arrested for corporate espionage. The media narrative shifted from scandal to love story. But none of that mattered as much as going home to our penthouse that night, together. I'm never letting you go again, he whispered as we lay tangled in bed. I don't care what happens or what anyone says. You're mine and I'm yours, and that's all I need to know. Good. Because I'm extremely stubborn and I don't give up easily. I've noticed. It's one of the things I love most about you. 6 months later, Jae-won surprised me with a plane ticket home to Georgia. What's this for? Just trust me. We flew to Georgia and drove to my family's farm. But when we pulled up, there was a huge white tent set up in the peach orchard. All my family was there. All his family, too. Even grandmother in her wheelchair, looking healthier than I'd seen her in months. What is this? A proper wedding. You deserved better than City Hall and a contract. So I'm giving you the wedding you should have had. With our families, our friends, and nothing but love. I burst into tears. Again. I seem to cry a lot around this man. We renewed our vows under the Georgia sun, surrounded by peach trees and love. Daddy walked me down the aisle. Mama cried the whole time. Tamin was the best man and made inappropriate jokes. Even Jae-won's mother hugged me afterward and whispered that she was sorry for doubting me. Grandmother pulled me aside as the reception started. I knew, from the beginning, that the marriage was arranged. My eyes went wide. You knew. I'm old, not stupid. but I also saw how you looked at each other when you thought no one was watching. I saw potential, so I kept quiet and let love do its work. She patted my hand. Thank you for loving my grandson. Thank you for teaching him that he deserves to be happy. As the sun set, Jae-won pulled me onto the makeshift dance floor. We swayed together under the fairy lights, his arms wrapped around me. Happy, Mrs. Park, deliriously. You, more than I ever thought possible. He pulled back slightly to look at me. I have one more surprise. If you bought me something else expensive, I'm going to kill you. He laughed. Not exactly. I've decided to open a technology center here in your hometown. Education programs, job training, scholarships for kids who want to study tech but can't afford it. I figured we could split our time between Seoul and Georgia. Build a life in both places. My heart felt so full it might burst. You'd do that. I'd do anything for you. Plus, I've grown fond of this place. The peaches are really good. I pulled his face down to kiss him. I love you so much. I love you too. More than contracts or money or companies. You're the most important thing in my life, Nicole. You always will be. As we danced under the stars, I thought about how far we'd come. From a spilled cup of coffee to a love story for the ages. From a business arrangement to a real marriage. From two broken people to two people healing together. 3 months later, I had one more surprise for him. I found him in his home office, buried in paperwork as usual. I set down the cup of coffee I'd made him, the one with exactly 1 sugar cube, just the way he liked it. Take a break. I have something to show you. He looked up, saw my expression, and immediately gave me his full attention. I placed the small white stick on his desk. It took him a second to process what he was seeing. Then his eyes went wide. Are you serious? I nodded, tears already forming. We're having a baby. He was around the desk in a heartbeat, pulling me into his arms, laughing and crying at the same time. We're having a baby, he repeated, like he couldn't quite believe it. We're going to be parents. Are you happy? Happy? Nicole, I'm terrified, ecstatic, overwhelmed, and this is the best news I've ever received in my entire life. He dropped to his knees and pressed his face against my still flat stomach. Hi, baby. This is your daddy. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be a father. But I promise you, I'm going to love you and your mama with everything I have. I'm going to make sure you grow up knowing you're wanted, loved, and safe. You're already the luckiest kid in the world because you have Nicole as your mother. I ran my fingers through his hair, completely overwhelmed with love for this man who'd become my entire world. Later that night, as we lay in bed with his hand resting protectively on my stomach, he said quietly, Do you ever think about that day? When you spilled coffee on my contracts? All the time. Worst and best day of my life. If I could go back, knowing everything that would happen, all the pain and chaos and scandal, I'd still choose you. Every single time. Even when I was stubborn and difficult, especially then. You made me feel alive again, Nicole. You made me remember that life is supposed to be more than just business, money, and protecting yourself from getting hurt. He turned to face me, his hand coming up to cup my cheek. Thank you for spilling that coffee. Thank you for signing that contract. Thank you for falling in love with me even when I didn't deserve it. Thank you for fighting for us when I was too scared to fight for myself. Thank you for giving me a family, a home, and a reason to be better. You don't have to thank me. Loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. He kissed me softly, and in that moment, with his hand on my stomach and our future stretching out before us, I knew that every difficult moment had been worth it. Every tear, every fight, every moment of doubt had led us here. To love, to family, to home. And that was worth more than any contract, any amount of money, any carefully planned arrangement. It was worth everything. The baby came 7 months later, a beautiful girl with my dark curls and Jae-won's intense eyes. We named her Grace, because that's what our love story had been built on. Grace upon grace upon grace. Grandmother held her great-granddaughter with tears streaming down her face, telling us she could die happy now. But she didn't die. She lived to see Grace's first steps, her first words, her second birthday. Jae-won was an incredible father, patient and gentle in ways I never expected. Sometimes I'd find him in Grace's nursery at 3 in the morning, just holding her and whispering promises about the man he was determined to be for her. The technology center in my hometown thrived. We spent summers in Georgia, letting Grace run barefoot through the peach orchards, and the rest of the year in Seoul, building our empire together. Because it wasn't just his company anymore. I'd gone back to school, finished my MBA, and now worked alongside him as an equal partner. Hee-jin served 2 years for corporate espionage and fraud. I never spoke to her again, but I heard she moved to another country and started over. I hoped she found peace. Holding on to anger wasn't worth the energy. Jae-won's mother and I would never be best friends, but we reached an understanding, especially after Grace was born. Turns out, grandchildren have a way of softening even the hardest hearts. On our 5th real anniversary, not counting the fake contract year, Jae-won took me back to Jeju Island, to the same resort where we'd first admitted we loved each other. We stood on the balcony watching the sunrise, his arms wrapped around me from behind, just like that morning 5 years ago. "Do you remember what you said to me that morning?" I asked. "That I was falling for you and it terrified me. And what would you say now?" He turned me to face him, his eyes full of love and certainty. "That falling for you was the best thing I ever did. That you saved my life in ways you'll never fully understand. That every single day with you is a gift I never take for granted. That our daughter is the most perfect combination of both of us. That I would go through every moment of pain and scandal and chaos again if it meant ending up right here with you." He pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was a simple gold band. The first ring was from a contract. The second was from obligation and guilt. This one is from pure love. "Marry me again, Nicole. Every single day for the rest of our lives, choose me and let me choose you." I was crying again, but this time they were the happiest tears in the world. Yes. Always yes. He slipped the ring on my finger, and we stood there as the sun painted the sky in shades of gold and pink. 2 people who'd found each other in the most unexpected way and built something real from a foundation of lies. Our story started with a mistake, a spilled cup of coffee, and a desperate arrangement. But it became something beautiful, something true, something worth fighting for. Because the best love stories aren't the ones that start perfect. They're the ones where 2 broken people decide to heal together. Where fear transforms into courage. Where a contract becomes a commitment. Where falling becomes forever. And as Jae-won kissed me with the sunrise spilling around us, I knew with absolute certainty that I would make that same choice 1,000 times over. Spill that coffee. Sign that contract. Fall for that guarded, broken, beautiful man. Because some mistakes aren't mistakes at all. They're destiny wearing a disguise. Thank you so much for watching this emotional journey with me. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible love stories that will make you believe in second chances and unexpected romance. Drop a comment below and tell me what you thought about Nicole and Jae-won's story. Which part made you cry? Which part made you smile? And most importantly, where are you watching from? I love hearing from viewers all around the world. If you enjoyed this story, check out the video I'll link in the description about another unexpected love story that will blow your mind. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss when I upload a new story. Until next time, remember that sometimes the best things in life come from the most unexpected places. keep believing in love, keep fighting for what matters, and keep coming back for more stories that remind us all why life is so beautifully complicated. See you in the next video.